related and revealed by the Buddhas of the three existences, a reference to the entire Lotus Sutra, and specific passages such as the one from the Immeasurable Meaning Sutra, which serves as an introduction to the Lotus Sutra. So the Measurable Meaning is the introduction to, it's a part of the threefold Lotus Sutra, which you can get online for free. I forget who was the author that translated the threefold Lotus Sutra, but it's worth reading. Very similar to the translation of the Lotus Sutra by Burton Watson, but it's just a little different. I kind of like getting all the three different takes because you can't really get any one interpretation or one translation to be exactly what it says. In these more than 40 years, I have not yet revealed the truth. This is from the Immeasurable Meaning Sutra. The passage from the Expedient Means, or second chapter of the Lotus Sutra. This is the passage. Following the same fashion that the Buddhas of the three existences employed in preaching the teachings, I will now do likewise, preaching the law that is without distinctions. And without distinctions means there's no classification between higher and lower. Everything is equal. And that's why he says, I made a vow in the Lotus Sutra to make all people equal to me with no distinctions. It means there's no superiority or ranking whatsoever. Also from the same chapter. In the Buddha land of the 10 directions, there is only the law of the one vehicle. There are not two, there are not three. And the Buddhas, the world-honored ones, appear in the world for one great reason alone. Okay, so those are all quotes from the Lotus Sutra. Once again, the first one, following the same fashion that the Buddhas of the three existences employed in preaching the teaching, I will now do likewise, preaching the law that is without distinction. Okay, in that same chapter he says, in the Buddha lands of the 10 directions, there is only the law of the one vehicle. There are not two or three. So he taught three vehicles, but there's only really Buddhahood. So these three vehicles of cause awakened one, voice hearers, and bodhisattva, or the world of learning, the world of realization, and the world of altruism, are really only one vehicle, which is the Buddha. So there's no steps to be taken once you know that it's all fused into the one final teaching, which is the Buddha, which you are. So he says that right in the Lotus Sutra. It's very, very plain and clear. So it also says in that chapter, the Buddha, the world-honored ones, appear in the world for one great reason alone. Okay, and that's the reason, is to show that you guys are all Buddhas. The words of the title, quote, classification of the teachings of which are to be abandoned and which upheld, point to the conclusion that among all the Buddhist teachings, those taught as expedient means are to be abandoned, and those that reveal the truth are to be upheld. The Daishonin applies the classification of Buddhism approved by all the Buddhas to Shakyamuni Buddha's lifetime's teachings, and makes clear that the Lotus Sutra is the true teaching, which opens up and merges all the other teachings. Then he refers to a wonderful law without distinction in the Expedient Means chapter. So this wonderful law without distinction is the law of Myoho Renge Kyo, identifying it as one vehicle of Myoho Renge Kyo present in one's mind that pervades the entire universe. So this is the law, this is the true Buddha. You are it. It's your consciousness. It's life itself. The Daishonin begins by making the distinction between the teachings expounded by Shakyamuni Buddha during the first 40 or more years of his preaching life, and the teaching of the Lotus Sutra, which the Buddha expounded during his final 8 years. He identifies the former as teachings pertaining to the conversion of others, expedient means, provisional in nature, teachings expounded in a dream realm, for those in a dream state. In contrast to this, he defines the Lotus Sutra as the teaching pertaining to the Buddha's own enlightenment, the true teaching, the teaching expounded in and for those in the waking state. Okay. Next, he briefly outlines the nature of those teachings pertaining to the conversion of others and describes the significance of the teachings pertaining to the Buddha's enlightenment. The Lotus Sutra explains its wondrous function in opening up and merging all other teachings into the single principle of the wonderful law. That's why the title of the Lotus Sutra is the Wonderful Law of the Lotus Blossom Sutra. This wonderful law, Myoho Renge Kyo. He explains the essence of the enlightenment attained by Shakyamuni Buddha in the unimaginably remote past, which is the wonderful law or mystic law from time without beginning. He describes greatly different results produced by the teachings pertaining to the Buddha's enlightenment and those intended for the conversion of others, and the differences in power and function between them, prescribing the practice that enables ordinary people in the latter day of the law to attain Buddhahood. Next he says, when one opens up and merges these, the sacred teachings of the Buddha's lifetime, so that one can perceive that the three truths constitute a single entity, that is to attain Buddhahood. So once you understand this, you are a Buddha. This is called opening up and merging, and this is the teaching that pertains to the Buddha's enlightenment. Finally, he refers to the one great reason, or more literally, the one great affair, for which all Buddhas appear in the world, and conclude, we will join in harmony with the single mind of the Buddhas of the three existences, carry out the practice of Myoho Renge Kyo, and without any obstruction attain enlightenment. For the distinction between the two teachings, those that pertain to the Buddha's enlightenment and those that pertain to the instruction and conversion of others, is as clear as though reflected in a mirror, if it is just as stated in the declaration of the Buddhas of the three existences. Keep this matter secret, keep this matter secret. Okay, so that's all, folks. Stay tuned next time for the reading of Letter to Mishima. This was published in the second volume, and this didn't come out until, let's see when this was finally published in English, 2006. So the first volume, which is 1,000-something pages, which I'll read the Letter Mishima from, was first published in the major writings, which is like 5 volumes. But then they made it super small print and super big page, so they could put all those 5 volumes in that one. And then this one was published, which were never published in English. And they waited until 2006 because that was the time finally when you guys are all ready. That's why it says don't reveal this until the time's right. So now you guys are all ready. And I look forward to your comments and your likes and your subscribing and all the other things to encourage me to do more of this. Otherwise, I'll go on do all my videos I've been doing, music videos. I'm working on my 4th professional music video. I just finished all the recording of a 13-song CD in Italy. I went in last September. What was it? August and September. And the first 2 just got released, songs from that CD. So we're working on, the band in Italy is working on the rest of the recording of it. I did all the vocal parts. And so far the first 2 songs are really great. So I put them up on my YouTube. Check them out. You can pre-order the CD to help us out. The more money we get from the pre-order of the CD, we can finish the CD quicker. We're shooting for about a year or 2. My last CD took me about 3 years because I couldn't afford paying the producer to do each song, so it took me about 3 months or more to do each song. This new CD I'm doing, I'm paying the producer double that. He's also an SGI member from Italy. He's incredible. He plays the guitar, the piano, the bass, and other instruments, and he does all the string section recording programmed, but it sounds incredible. And I'm working with my my video producer to do our 4th music video right now, which is going to be one of those songs. We're releasing it early with the old CD I did in Japan with Otonohaka, which was a small record company I won a song competition with, and it's the Japanese version of that song I won the song competition with. But on the new CD it'll have the Japanese version, a much better version because that CD wasn't that great, and an English version of the song, which I won the contest doing the English version. So this 4th video will be actually a 4th and 5th video because we'll do both an English and Japanese version. That we're going to release the Japanese version real soon using the old recording, and then we're just going to, once we get the one done from Italy, we're going to just put it in this and sync it up with the new version of the song. It'll be about the same tempo, but it'll probably be longer, maybe bridge or longer solo parts or longer introduction or whatever, or outro, I don't know. I leave that all up to my producer. I just give him songs like a naked body. I give him the melody, the chord structure, and the basic structure of the song, and that's all. There's only 3 parts to a song. There's a melody, lyrics, and chord structure. Those are the 3 parts you can own of a song. So I do those 3, give them to him. It's like a naked body, and then he puts clothes on it, does the hairdo, tattoos, whatever he wants to do to it to make it a fully produced song. So I give him complete. I did the same thing with Remy pretty much. I told him on my last CD, just I record my vocal, I record the scratch track of a piano and a guitar, boom, and I send it to him, and then he puts all the instruments in and had everything done, and then it surprised me, get it, wow, it's like a whole new creation. And that's what I got with this first 2 songs from my producer. Totally incredible. One song I didn't even think it was going to be such hard rock, or not really hard rock, but I kind of wrote it as acoustic ballad kind of, but then he put in the full band and just became this really strong song. I'm like, wow. That was actually Brighter Than the Sun, which was originally going to be on my last CD was going to be called Brighter Than the Sun, but I never got around to recording that song because I kept, over the 3 years that we worked on the CD, I kept writing new songs, so I kept wanting to do the new songs that I wrote. So this was the only time I went into the studio, did all 13 songs at once, so I couldn't add more songs in later. So I took some songs I wrote in the 90s, which is Brighter Than the Sun. I took some songs I wrote way back, mid-90s, called Her Story, Not History. And then I took some brand new ones I just wrote recently. And God, I have a really... so many new and old ones together on this new CD, so it's going to be really incredible because I never recorded any of these songs other than the Japanese CD where I recorded. It wasn't that great because I won the contest and they were this company was kind of going out of business after I won the contest. Now they're still in business, but they're not really doing as good as they were before they did the contest. And so I don't think they really took seriously what they were doing with my winnings, because it was a free demo, it was a free production for them. So you're going to hear that on the next CD. You're going to hear that on the next video, their version of it, which is called... I actually put that 3-song CD up on my YouTube page too, so you can listen to the whole Japanese version of my contest winning CD. Okay, it's getting very late. Wow, it's almost 12 o'clock. 11:45. I better go to bed. Okay. That's all. Peace out. I love you all. Thanks a lot.